Thank you for having me, Anthony, Mr. Anthony C. I'm excited to be here. This is a platform, like about a month ago, I believe, that we basically announced that we were exploring the possibility in the process. So I only felt it right that would come back to you to share, what we found out in our exploratory efforts. But in exploring, you have a lot of things to do. There are a lot of stakeholders in Montserrat County. There are a lot of different pieces. There are a lot of issues you have to look at to weigh in making your decision. There are a lot of people you have to talk to directly, sometimes indirectly. Different communities you have to reach out to, different organizations you got to try to engage. And from the quote unquote perception of somebody who's, not popular, because as you know, a lot of times that's where people base their assessment on. But we'll also try to delve into the numbers and to look at, as many different factors and variables as we could in order to make our decision. We talked to quite a few organizations on what their positions were. We talked to a significant number of persons, both on the ground and through social media. We came away with a strong sense that there's a significant portion of the population that's very apathetic, meaning they don't care. They are frustrated with the current situation. They don't really have a side, and somebody to convince them or show them, something special, something different for them to even want to participate in the process. So that's why, we kind of extended, our efforts to make sure that we will try to reach to some of those people who could put some system and tools in terms of our own organization into place and be able to appeal to those people that,
Mr. Tuba?
quality here that we have, that we think you would be a viable part of, and we reached out to people along those lines. Yeah, I see you chomping at a bit.
Yeah. The audience, I'm getting notification that they can't hear me, so I just want to make sure I make some adjustment here. So folks, before Isaac can
Can they
continue,
hear me? Can they
yeah,
hear me?
I can hear you, but they telling me that they're not hearing me, but they can hear you, and so I
Okay.
want to make sure they are hearing me. It said, okay, now folks are watching us. Can you now hear me? So please make that known quickly so that Mr. Tuba can continue. Someone is stepping. Let me see. Good. We're good. So you can continue.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
So reached out to one or two different sources to do some unscientific kind of polling in terms of what people were thinking, what their problems are, their pain points, and what would they like to see. And quite a few people stressed leadership. Quite a few people stressed something that's not regular. They need something different. They need something more inspirational as well as practical. Somebody that can tell them, this is how we do it, and start to show this is how we do it. That's what a lot of people, the feedback we got, that's where it came from. So we are excited about the opportunity because we think we meet, those parameters that people are looking at: leadership, being practical, at the same time being able to inspire and give hope to people. So we believe we have those qualities that people are looking at. We believe we have practical solutions to some of the real problems that are affecting us. And both, we believe they are workable in partnership with government, or just focusing on the private sector and the humanitarian or nonprofit side of things in terms of, trying to galvanize and secure resources that can help our people. But at the height of all of that, is how do we as a people move forward, and that's where we talk about integration and transformation. Those are necessary elements for us to even really consider any kind of positive forward movement as a people. Um, our society is highly, highly disconnected. There are a lot of silos that exist, and we believe that integration is essential for us to connect as a people, for us to rally around, some kind of new nationalism that speaks to being Liberian. And that integration is about people on the ground recognizing that people in the diaspora can be very solid partners in the development process. And similarly, people in the diaspora recognize that some people on the ground are doing great things, wonderful things, and they just need some partnership. They are at that stage where they probably need some infusion of capital, some scalability in terms of what they are doing. So bringing those kind of things to bear in that integration process in terms of really trying to connect the diaspora and our people on the ground. That's what the effort is about too. And so we have formed a movement in that respect, the Liberian Integration and Transformation Movement. Now, the integration part is wonderful, but we also need some vertical integration with people that are on the ground in terms of how they connect, whether from an ethnic business, from a travel business, from a social business, political, economic, all of that. That's part of how we can bond as a people, try to be one and believe. And that will also take away some of the apathy or the neglect that people feel with regards to this whole political process, that they are not really involved. They feel like they are not bought in, like they get the leaders, they vote their leaders in, and their leaders don't look back at them, don't really provide for them, don't really advocate for the bread and butter things that they need, starting with just job creation, benefits from government and the services that government is supposed to provide. So we are looking at all those things and saying, yes, integration is key. But we have to look at the transformation side, right? Where the mindsets that we have towards each other, we'll be trying to change them as well. Um, some of the negativities that exist, the whole thing is, kind of a vicious cycle that we are in terms of how we feel about each other. If people start to show more love, start to show more care, that can make a difference in terms of how people respond to them. If people can come down off their high horse, at the same time, people can come down from the different complexes or insecurities they feel, those things can help. So all of that in terms of transforming the mindsets of our people, looking at what are some of the key issues that we need to deal with as a people, especially when it comes to empowerment, whether it's mental empowerment, whether it's financial empowerment, whether it's being able to find steps to ladders for different people to elevate themselves. Those are all issues that we are concerned with, that we feel we are bringing to the table to help our people improve themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Toba. It's a lot you cover right there. Let's see if we can go here and there on those issues you mentioned. First, you talk about a movement that you, with your leadership, have been able to put together, and you said is the Liberian Integration and What Transformation Movement. And
Yes.
so, looking at people in the diaspora and also people on the ground, seeing each other as partners in terms of moving our country forward. That is a good thing. And the question somebody might be asking is, but Mr. Tuba, you have been exploring, and how come you're seeing this now? How come you didn't see this yesterday? Do you finally give some eyes to see now because you have some political interest here? What would you say to that person?
I mean, I think you should answer that for them. You should know better. No, it's not a just now thing. We have always been talking about that. So that person's perspective would be just totally wrong. It's not a new thing. It's something that has always been, we have been vocal about, even down to the tribal disconnects, the
Mhm.
country Congo, all of those things we have talked about them. So it's not new. It's just that this movement is directed to attacking those things directly in a frontal manner and trying to find real solutions and trying to really connect people in a positive way, be able to build that kind of relationship and that kind of connection. And we believe we have that ability to do that to work across all streams to bring our people together.
So it is this movement that, with your leadership, has been put together that is serving as the driving force behind your decision about to contest.
No, the
Okay.
movement is what drives me as an individual and what will connect people to make Liberia better.
Okay.
My personal desire to contest is driven by the support I'm getting from people, the need that exists, the
Mm-hmm.
leadership vacuum that is there, the network that we can build and provide. At the same time, expecting some kind of support from this kind of movement, right? Because this kind of movement is focused on the governance issue, the level of humanitarian situation that exists in the country,
Right.
uh, raising our people, the processes to elevate them to a different level. So it's not significantly different from my mindset in terms of how our people develop.
Mm-hmm.
But the advantage of a movement is it will hold me accountable, it will hold anybody accountable. It's not obligated to any one individual. It's open to all Liberians, it's nonpartisan. The intent for anybody coming into the movement is to want a better Liberia. And we know that different people have different perspectives of
Mm-hmm.
what a better Liberia is, but we have to be able to harmonize and bring those things together in a compilation that represents the shared vision of a people, not just, one track. Other people have to be involved in the process.
All right. Let's come to some basic stuffs that are important. You know, I see you, a gentleman running for office, and you've been exploring, thinking about running for office, to put it right. And you are to ask people, if you make that decision, which you are to make here today, people will be wondering, who is that guy? I know people get to ask that question too much, but it's one question you will keep answering. That's how you sell yourself to the people. So let's go basics a little bit. Who is Axel Tuba? I don't know you.
Right. So Isaac Tupa is a family man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a friend. He's a father, a husband. Um, he prefers hard work rather
Mm-hmm.
than luck.
Right.
Um, you know, I'm the kind of person who will engage anybody for the benefit of the collective.
Mm-hmm.
I can work with anybody for the benefit of the collective. So I'm very versatile in terms of relationship building, in terms of engaging, but I also have principles that I stand by that I would seldom kind of deviate from. And, I don't necessarily impose it on people, but I just let you know where my standards are, what my expectations are. So not nearly 95% of the time, I'm very direct. Sometimes I may be politically correct based on this kind of situation we are involved in. Um, from a activity standpoint, I'm involved in a lot of different activities.
Mm-hmm.
I have a strong belief that the agricultural sector is where we can really make a difference. So I'm delving into that sector. For the last 7, 8 years, I have been involved in this sector, trying to see how we can make a difference, working with different, set of farmers,
Mm-hmm.
trying to really understand the cooperative system and how we can make it impact people. Um, Also bringing other people to the table, elaborating on the benefits of agriculture to our country, trying to see how we can participate as Liberians collectively in an enterprise that can work, that can, be in the sector, present a strong presence, add value, be able to help with food security, at the same time, be able to export products and
Mm-hmm.
improve, our foreign currency situation, our balance of trade slash balance of payments efforts, and be able to help with inflation. So when we can contribute to those kind of things, and I feel that I'm an integral part of that contribution, would be wonderful. Then I participate and help in the tourism sector in trying to attract people to Liberia, in trying to make Liberia look like a destination that people want to come to.
Right.
So I'm involved with, a group Lane of Return that will focus on trying to see how we could build up the tourism sector for 2022 when it will be 200 years since the settlers came to our show in 1822. So how we do that, again, It takes collaboration. It takes us working with private and the public sectors to be able to move those processes forward. So I
Right.
see myself as very instrumental
Mhm.
in bringing different people to the table with different capabilities, having a versatile, scope of the development needs of our country. Having some expertise in specific areas and some decent knowledge about other areas. But I'm not egotistic to the point that those people who are experts in the sectors, I won't seek their advantage or I won't subscribe to what they are putting forward. Though I will try to vet it and be very diligent in how I research and understand what they are bringing. So I think I bring a diverse set of capability and qualities to the table. I also have a background in the technology sector from a project management perspective, and I do delve into things technology. That's why I'm focusing on supporting a Liberian who has built a platform kind of similar to LinkedIn that he wants for Liberians to build their own virtual community where it's there. Everything Liberian can be found there. You can access it there. And similarly for Africa, because it's called a Unified African Business Network, and the URL is
Thank you.
uadlink.com. So I think that speaks a little bit about me, right? But I
Yeah.
left out the humanitarian piece of what I do. I'm involved with a lot of humanitarian efforts. I support basically anything that will help or bring impact our people in Liberia. Since 2007, I founded and have been the head for Liberian um, Emergency and Disaster Relief Fund. Nickname is the leader fund, and we have been supported. But sometimes because of the emphasis of my efforts in other directions, things have slowed down. But recently we have picked up again. We are active. We are registered both in Liberia and we're a nonprofit here in the US. We're a 501c3. So we are working towards seeing how we can impact things in Liberia, even with this recent coronavirus situation where, consistently putting notices out there. We have managed to, secure some medical supplies for our people. Initially, it was intended for Phoebe Hospital because they put an SOS out asking people to help. They didn't have XYZ supplies. So we are still raising funds to ship that. We are hoping to ship this June. Ship our fundraiser and bring it out, over this next week to see if we can get an intense level of fundraising to support that effort. Additionally, I've been involved with Child Steps International. That's a Liberian founded and owned NGO that operates both in the US and in Liberia that focuses on um, working with children and women and communities, to help develop them, does analysis, baseline assessments. We wrote a civics book um, called The Law Plus You. It talks about responsible citizenship. It has been approved for the schools, and hopefully the implementation will take place for this upcoming academic year because we know a lot of people um, don't understand what responsible citizenship is. They don't understand what the rights is. There's still an issue with conflict resolution in how we approach it. So these are all some of the things that we are looking at collectively as a group, and we are looking at presenting to the Liberian people, through my person first with this opportunity that we are looking at and about to, declare where we stand.
Thank you. I listened to that very carefully, and maybe I can say religiously too. And folks who are following us here, keep selling your question. I'm paying attention to the live feed, and I will try to ask all your questions. Isaac Tuba has been exploring for some time now, and he has a big decision to make. The, all I can tell you, it is a political decision. And the only hint I can give you, he has been exploring about Moserado County, a tough political spot. What is that decision? How is he going into that decision? He will tell us. I listened to you. I didn't get your political resume. You have been exploring about something very political. Tell us about your political side.
Okay, on my political side, most of my political exposure has been advocacy. Up to 2009, I was an independent.
Mhm.
I just, gave my opinion in articles, in discussions about what I thought about Liberia. But I had some friends who felt I could be impactful for the CDC, and it came after me from like 2007, 2008, and finally in 2009, after I went to Liberia, had some conversations with different people. I felt, the vision of the CDC was something I shared in terms of its fundamental philosophy, being that we need to build up to where we can provide an opportunity for an affordable living for every Liberian. And that is still kind of a mindset. That's what everything drives, right? So I became a member of the CDC back in 2009. Um, I got into the role of financial secretary at the time it was vacant. By 2010, I got elected at the convention, the deputy chairman for operations for CDC USA, the USA branch of the CDC. And then we had one of our chairman at the time. He had to leave, Mr. Jadia. And then based on our extension clause, I moved up to deputy for administration. And at the end of our tenure in 2012, because we had 2 years terms, I ran for the chairmanship and I won. And I was the chairman for CDC USA from 2012 to 2016. And then, as the Democrat I am, and I believe in democracy, we facilitated the elections for the next person to come in, and that process has continued with CDC USA. So, my CDC resume is basically that.
So, pinning you a little bit or pushing you a little bit on your CDC resume. Looking back, all your time, your effort, and your money, your aspiration and your wishes, and seeing the way things are now. Any regrets? If not, what do you have to share in terms of your experience?
I don't think I have regrets. I
Okay.
mean, obviously, there's some level of disappointment in terms of how we have performed
Mhm.
since we achieved it.
Mhm.
The journey was a real learning experience.
Mhm.
And it gave me a better understanding of Liberian politics, the amount of people I was able to affect, mentor. And I believe you fall in that category as well. The people I build relationships with. Some relationships have really matured and been mutually beneficial. Others probably have fallen by the wayside because of some of the principles we hold, sacrosanct to ourselves. We don't, fall off that.
Right.
So it has been a wonderful experience for me. Even the times when there were failure and everything, you're not always successful in life, and that's what some people have to understand. You don't just get immediate results. So I think that experience was wonderful for me. I would have loved for the CDC to have impacted things and to have been, you know, just checking mark off the different deliverables in the Pro agenda
Mhm.
for prosperity. But, for development, it hasn't happened. And, we just hope that we can add to it, be able to help our country. And that's the primary purpose for which we exist, to be able to help Liberia improve.
Finally, before we go to the meat of what we're here for on the CDC, because I'm asking another question on this because I know you personally and your role you play just as many people who are also on Facebook know you. The CDC is in power and you are not there, and you have a political decision to make today. Is that decision in line with what the CDC stands for?
I believe so. If the CDC still stands for what's documented on paper, then surely they will be able to understand where I come from, because we want results,
Mhm.
we want to make a difference, we want to impact our people. And that's where I'm coming from. That's the angle. And so anyone in CDC who sees that and who knows me will relate to that perspective and say, yes, we think that's the right direction, Isaac is going.
And you have a lot of friends, both in and outside of the CDC.
Right.
Um, how supportive are they on this journey?
I mean, I believe I've received tremendous support so far from friends and people who just know me, and some people who don't know me,
Mhm.
who heard about it and even reached out to me and want to say they understand where I'm coming from. They support me. They really think, I could be the one that can make a difference, both for Montserrat and for the country.
All right, folks in cyberspace, you are watching a special edition of Focus on Liberia. Our guest today is Mr. Axel Vah Tukpah Jr. This junior boy has been exploring for Montserrat County, and he has a decision to make. I will now give him a couple of minutes to make that decision, thereby getting himself into trouble with me, and then we will go into it. Mr. Tukpah, you have a decision to share with my listeners and your friends and supporters. What is it? What you been hiding from us?
Well, my decision is this, and I want to look clearly in people's eyes and tell them I've decided to run as an independent in the upcoming senatorial elections for Montserrat County. I'm excited about this opportunity. I believe we represent a formidable candidacy. We have significant support from people, and we hope that will continue. We know the challenge will be very tough, and we don't expect anything easy. We don't expect anything will be given to us. We believe that things will try to be taken away from us, but we stand resolute in our position that we can make a difference, that we can inspire people, that we can push people to perform at different levels. We are not coming to this process ignorant of the challenges, ignorant of the doubts people have, ignorant of the apathy of the voting population, and the amount of work it would take. But one thing we do know, we are willing, very willing to pound the pavement, to engage people, to get them to understand our viewpoint. We also listen to them too, because that's what it really is about listening to those who are affected and let them kind of, pinpoint to you exactly what they think, how you could help them. And then you engage them in terms of what your thought process is. But obviously, you know, based on how elections go or based on how campaigning goes, you are supposed to give them your platform and tell them what you're thinking. But then when they come in with priorities that may be different, or priorities that may be special to them, you have to be accommodating enough to incorporate what they are saying if you want to represent their interests. So it's kind of two-sided, but you have to be able to centralize those viewpoints, compile them, and concretize them into something substantive that the voters can take and move forward.
All right, you have made that announcement. Now you got yourself in trouble. My first question is, do you know the terrain that you are getting in? Do you know what you're up against? My sense is that it's like somebody is asking you to lift yourself up with your bootstrap and you don't have bootstraps. That's what I see. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You sound like James L. Jones. He decided not to to wear his boots strings until black people can create their own bootstraps.
Right.
So you're right. That's what we are going to do. We are going to bootstrap this process and create our own strengths. We are going to start from scratch and build. And this is not just about me, like some people would may want to make it. This is more than me. This is an effort to show people that there's an alternative out there. They don't have to subscribe to the status quo or the way politics is today, in order for them to be a part of this democratic process that all Liberians are supposed to be involved in. They will have to make them to understand how important their vote is. That if you don't vote, you don't come to the polls, you are actually voting against yourself. So that education of the significance of one vote, your individual vote, that understanding of what the social contract is we became people and the people they elect, what their responsibilities are, what their obligations are to them. We have to show that the paradigm that has been working in Liberia is not correct. It has to be shifted. The beggar rights politics in terms of it being, oh, let me give you some money now, you elect me, I forget about you. We have to change that. And luckily for me, I'm an independent. The resources will be limited. I'm not going to buy votes. That is very clear. You know, you have to buy into the vision, and we have to work together for our success to be there. It is a mutual success, and it is a commitment that will make to the people about the direction we are going in.
Mr. Toba, you look further ahead. I want you to look further ahead. Looking at your chances,
Uh-huh.
what do you see? The world narrow or the world wide?
I see competition. I see a battle for the minds of the people. I see um, the potential for ties to change. There are a lot of people who are not committed one way or the other among the electorate.
Mhm.
If we go back and analyze the past election, you know, the proponents that work with the winner, the people who work with the loser, the frustration from the losers, or those who voted for the loser, it's clear that there is room for somebody to come in and make a case. And if that case is sellable, where you can really be able to convince people, you have a very, very good chance.
So,
Obviously, in the race,
mhm.
there will be people who will be identified as the front runner. There will be people who will be identified as popular. Then there will be people who will fill space.
I know
I want to
you.
be a substantive candidate, the
Mhm,
person who comes with the issues, focus on the issues,
mhm.
trying to find the solutions, and work with people and empower them to be able to understand where that drive is going and how we can get there together.
I know you to be a number guy, somebody who like numbers, who likes
Right,
statistics.
right,
You always want to know what the data say so that as to make a decision. You were
right.
just talking about the numbers just now. If you look at, did you really look at those numbers and do you see any opening at all?
Significant opening, big time. So let me just get my calculator for a second, right?
Okay,
So do you know how many voters are in Montreal County?
I can't remember.
Probably 770,000.
Okay,
So those who voted last were like 185,000.
okay,
Let me get in 200,000.
okay. Out of the 700 plus, right?
770,000. That's
Okay.
26%.
Mhm.
So are you telling me if 26% of the people voted, we cannot motivate a significant more to come to the polls? I believe we can. Even if I don't talk to one person who voted in that election,
Mhm.
and I talk to the other 570,000 people,
Mhm.
I should be able to convince some of them to come to the polls and vote. If that roster that the National Election Commission will come out and say, this is the voter roll, if I cannot take that role and try to shake 400 persons' hand, at least in Montreal County,
Mhm.
and engage them and talk about what I'm thinking and how it could benefit them, then, I haven't done my work.
Earlier, you talk about going independent. And why it brought to my mind is money, 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 money. You going independent. We're talking about bootstrap. You're not going with your party. You're going independent. So where are you going to get that money from to move that bigger chunk of number you talk about that did not participate in the election? Where are you going to get the money from that will enable you to knock on those doors?
Well, I look at it like this. Montserrat
Mm-hmm.
is not one of the biggest places.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, every morning, I will have to get up and get in people's faces, get them to know me, get them to know what I'm thinking. Um, yes, elections are money. Yes, we have to invest in the process. We also raise funds to help us in the process. But at the end of the day, we know money can buy elections. We have seen money working with no results in so many different kinds of elections. It's about, can you connect with the people in the time giving? Can you get them to understand where you are coming from? Can you work with them wherever they are and be able to move forward with them as a people, as a team? Those are some of the key issues I believe that we have to work with. Can you show them and enlighten them in terms of what you are thinking? Or can you humble yourself? If your thought process is, off base after you engage these people to say, yes, my people, you're right. I think that the way we should go. I support your view. Let me represent you to amplify that view, to implement that view. So it's about being flexible. It's about being committed to the process, and about being honest with yourself. When you get in there, and if it's so much over your head, be able to say, at this time, okay. I mean, don't you see that here every time with different candidates pulling out of the race?
I see that, but there's this reality also that sometimes the terrain can change the variables and the dynamics. But I need to ask you this question. Uh, Obviously, you are going against a candidate supported by four political parties, whereas you are going as an individual. If I look at the recent election, the way your party candidate was dragged, I'm wondering if a party we know to have what you call Monserrato at a stronghold could not put it off. How is Axel Tobar going to put it off without bootstrap here?
And that's where the element of surprise, the element of hard work, the element of strategy, and the element of commitment comes in. So I don't know what the CDC did for their candidate.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to do an assessment when I was there in terms of what were the primary reasons. And we have been individual discussions with different folks. There's a lot of discontent. You don't come to power and then don't satisfy your base that brought you to power. That's one of the major factors. Two, if the four political parties could only bring out 200,000 people, I think that's a pathetic demonstration of what kind of control they really have over the populace in Monserrate County. That's why I'm saying if only 26% of the voters came out, that tells me there's a significant number of people who are tone deaf to whatever these political parties are saying. They don't believe them anymore. They don't have the credibility, both in terms of moving them, with that inspiration, like we can do something for you.
In short, you see the CPP as being politically weak, thereby giving you an opening. Is that what you're telling me?
Those are your words and not my words.
I'm asking you a question, Isaac.
I'm simply saying the performance to date of the CPP has not been impressive for me to say, because the CPP puts up a candidate, I should shy away from that challenge. No, if there are people who believe in me, who believe in my ability, whether they are members of the CPP or not, if they really want Liberia to be successful, they will vote for me.
Simple question. Can you beat DeLong?
In what respect? Physically, yes.
We're talking about election here. Access, stop pushing me around.
Without question.
Can you beat DeLong in this coming election?
No doubt, without question. Why would I join this race if I don't feel like I can beat DeLong? Or whoever other candidate? But again,
maybe you want to show how handsome you are?
No, that's not an issue at this point. We're old now. No, I keep telling people, we got to make this thing simple. It's not personal. Okay. He's the front runner. He's a target that people going after, yes. But I'm going after people. I'm not going after him. There's nothing there for me to go after Dylan. You can do your own check boxes tomorrow, please. That's an exercise for you. Tell me all the qualities you want to look for in a candidate, and do a Dylan check box and do a Vah Tukpah check box and tell me what you come up with.
All right. I have to ask the question. Assuming now that you're going independent, if CDC feeds a candidate, talking about the numbers you brought about, let me use your own numbers on you. 700,000 votes about that. Let's say you gave DeLong 200, given the past election result.
You are very generous, but go ahead.
All right, I try to be generous before the CPP come after me, maybe. So let's say you gave DeLong 200, and your party CDC puts up a candidate, and that candidate managed to come up with maybe 300. And this time around, CDC is saying, you know what, DeLong took our seat, we're going for our seat, we'll do everything we can. You are left with nothing, right?
When people do, how should I say, flawed math, I don't argue. it's worthless for me to argue the point because your whole diatribe you just did is just baseless. So I can't argue that.
I told you I'm not a normal guy, but I try to be political, so I
No,
think
I
you know what I'm
already
saying
gave
there.
you the structure. I already gave you the structure of what happened before, which is be a decent predictor
Mm-hmm.
of what will happen. When was the elections? 2019. 1 year and a half later,
Mm-hmm.
I just gave you what the previous numbers were
Mm-hmm.
and the future numbers. What I think they will look like. There's a huge opening there for anybody who has the work ethic, for anybody who has the capabilities to be able to make a difference for the people and be able to bring them to the polls. Has a very good chance in these elections.
Thank you, folks in cyberspace. You are watching Focus on Liberia. I'm Anthony here hosting. This is a special edition of our show. We have with us now Kennedy Axe Vah Tukpah for the Monserrato
No,
County.
aspiring.
Thanks for that correction.
Because the
Exparent.
National Electoral Commission will validate that I'm a candidate, but
Thank
I
you.
am
I
anticipating.
appreciate that correction. Thank you. I appreciate that correction. Now, expiring active October, he has made that decision. He's running. He is an expirant. He will be challenging Dillon and any other person who may come from the CDC because the CDC
Anybody
pool
who
seems to
put foot, anybody who put foot.
anybody who put for according to him, he will challenge that person. And he made it clear. He said he's going to win. How he does that, he knows. But I have a question here. Let me go to our viewers here and bring them in for their question. Folks, also, we have a telephone number that is on the screen. Call. Let's play tough with Axe. He thinks he's tough, but let's do it. He wants a job that is consequential in our country. People say they are just lawmakers. I see them as policy makers because every policy that must be implemented has to pass through that house. So if you want to go there, I have to ask you the tough questions. And somebody is asking you on Facebook, you stay with your party CDC. Why are you not running on their ticket and you running independent? That person is asking.
I do not believe the CDC structure benefits me to run in this particular party the way it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
My team and myself do not believe that if we enter a primary situation, especially over the last month and a half, I've been
Mm-hmm.
asking for information that has not been forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect any real transparency to be there. So I'm not going to procrastinate in terms of how I build, my structure towards this effort. So the CDC is not an option. I've decided to go independent, and that's how we are moving.
And you think this is the best option?
For me, it's definitely the best option.
All right, let me go back to the viewers here on Facebook. Mr. Devja is asking, are you forming a new party, Isaac?
Wonderful question, but no, Dave, I'm not forming a new party. We are forming a new movement, but we're not forming a political party. And I think the movement is essential to progress in Liberia. I think the movement is something a lot of Liberians have been wanting, a Liberian integration and transformation movement. Um, that movement will be able to support political candidates. Hopefully, by the time I become a candidate, that movement will be set up enough to probably endorse me or support me. Um, but the movement vision is to be able to have an impact on elections across the country, to be able to support candidates who share fundamental beliefs and ideas of the movement and want to make a difference for the Liberian people. That's the effort of the movement. In terms of my personal candidacy, it's not about trying to form a political party. It's about speaking to the people directly, reaching to them, identifying with them in terms of what my thoughts are, what their thoughts are, finding mutual ground, and seeing how we can work together as Liberians to build our country.
All right, so I will encourage you. I'm not suggesting that you're making your answer long, make them short, because I see a lot of people line up, and I want you to be able
Wonderful.
to interact with
All
them
right.
as much as possible.
All right. We try to test the one, 2 words answer.
Okay. All right. This one is from Cisse Goya. He's my man here in Minnesota. How is Axe Tuba, the senatorial candidate now aspiring, he made that correction, different from Axe Tuba, the defeated horse candidate and CDC? I didn't get that part,
No
but
answer. Next question. No answer. Next question.
All right, but let's do this. Let's be fair to Mr. Goya here. He's right here on the phone line. Let me bring him in quickly, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. But
Yeah,
the question was not clear.
yeah. Mr. Goya, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Please ask your question and any other comment. Mr.
Can you hear
Goya,
him? I can hear him.
hello? We can't hear you. Hello? Your line is bad. Let me put you on hold.
Well, can he rewrite the question?
Yeah, so hold on. I said, let me go back to the question again. I don't know. The ending part is what I did not get clear, and I don't want to waste much time here. Yeah, let him rephrase it. Let's bring in this caller quickly. This caller has been here for some time. Caller with phone number ending in 1036. Quickly to the issue. Caller, are you there?
I think there's something wrong with the phone.
Unmuted.
All right,
Oh,
all right, all right.
Okay, hey, Anthony's here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anthony,
It was my fault, guys. It was my fault. Isaac.
you have muted me. That was why.
Yeah, I apologize about that. So quickly, I didn't get the any part of your question. So please ask that question, and then you can comment if you want.
So I have a few questions, but
Yeah.
I would love for the experiment to be a little bit more
Hello, are you telling
not
me?
dismissive, because when you were trying to read my stuff, you said next question, move on. I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So the question was, how is Vah Tukpah, the aspirant, the senatorial aspirant, different from Vah Tukpah, the defeated House candidate, because you ran for an election last time, and the CDC chair? Because my question is driving at trying to make a point of, do you have any regrets with the CDC? Is that why you're moving to run as an independent? And then also, that was the reason for that question. What is the difference between what you ran for a House seat that you lost and you right now running for a senatorial seat?
Thank you. The difference is we're not
different from others after party. This went on election last time, and
Go ahead, Isaac.
just driving at.
Okay. No, I got your question, Mr. Kula.
I think he's listening to the show on the other side. He needs to stop
okay,
that.
okay. Yeah. So, well, I'm the same person. I still hold the same beliefs, but things change. We got state power. We have not measured up. And again, we got to separate the government and the actors in government who are from the CDC from the party, the CDC. So as much as the government may be labeled a CDC or coalition government, is not the partisans of the CDC or even the people in the hierarchy of the party leadership that are the issue. I believe those in government are the issue. And because we cannot seem to get on the same page in terms of policies and how we move forward, I believe I need to take an independent stand and move forward in terms of pushing the agenda that I see that may be grounded in some of the CDC beliefs, but also are flavored by my own opinion and my own way of doing things as well.
All right. Let me bring in this other caller. Caller phone number ending in 1036, area code 734. Quickly to the issue. What question do you have for aspirant Vah Tukpah?
I hope you don't have me on mute.
No. Caller, are you there? It's not on mute. All right. That caller may not be paying attention. Let me bring in this one. All right. Caller with phone number ending in 7084. Quickly to the issue. What's your question for Isaac?
Well, it's not a question. I just want to congratulate my own chairman emeritus, the Honorable Isaac Vah Tukpah, for taking this bold step tonight. He get my 100% support. Liberia needs a leader, and I one of those who can vouch for the Honorable Tukpah that yes, indeed, he has that leadership that Liberia is looking for. I think we are going to work. It's going to require a lot of work for us. I know Musarado, a lot of people think that, oh, DeLon. No. Mr. Tukpah is qualified. He has so many visions. If only the Liberian people will give him the chance to sell those visions out to them, I think he would be a very good senator for Musarado County. Again, I just want to say thank you, Honorable Tukpah, and I stand with you 100%. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Joe Jackson, that trying to give his man a pooch here. That is good. Before I go back to the phone line again, Mr. Tukpah, I have a question here. What kind of campaign will aspiring candidate to be asked to run? This is why I asked the question. There are times that when you are the underdog, you want to get the attraction. And so you start throwing some mud. Well, I say go with that kind of game. Sometimes it works.
Yeah, sometimes it works, but is that what our people need for us to go at people with negatives? I don't know that that's the answer. I believe, like I said, I need to talk to people. I need to convince people. I need to run a hard-driven grassroots effort where I'm in the communities. I'm talking to Tabela with the people there. I'm playing basketball with the people there. I'm playing checker with the people there. I won't say Lulu, but I will play snake and ladder. Whatever it is.
Are you afraid of Ludo? Why not Ludo?
I can't spin the dog, so no, I'm just teasing.
Okay.
But no, but seriously, it's about getting the community and doing this kind of back porch engagement with the people, you know, talking to them, convincing them, understanding where they are coming from, what they see, what's hindering them. And also, you know, I've been around for elections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those people take for granted that elections are already lost before the election even start. And I have to be able to convince those people that we can't have that kind of apathetic mindset. You have to be able to utilize your vote. So come out and vote, you know, exercise your franchise, your political franchise, and let your voice, your political voice be heard. You know, don't submit yourself to the hype or to the popularity of anything when really you are looking for substance, you are looking for results. Go and put in your vote for that person who you think can produce your desired result.
All right, let me bring in this caller with phone number.
Cecilia 4.
All right, go quickly. You just called from Liberia. Quickly.
Yes, my name is Cecilia K4, and I'm the former treasurer of CDC, Congress for Democratic Change, and I 100% support Mr. Isaac Vah Tukpah going independent. And I just want to send a message out there to Honorable Dylan. Dylan, we have nothing against you, but you are limited. You are very, very limited. You shine the light. You don't have solution. We are looking for people who have solution. And Mr. Tukpah is the way to go, bringing in fresh ideas in the Senate and moving Liberia forward. So way to go, and bravo to Mr. Tukpah. Calling on all seditions. We made Honorable Dylan. It wasn't the CPP that gave him those votes. So I'm calling on all seditions, come back home and vote for Honorable Tukpah. Vote for your own, okay? He's going independent, but vote for him because you know him. Thank you.
Hold on, caller. I have a question for you. I'm glad
that you on my show.
Why not?
Okay,
I'm ready. I have a question for you. You just said that you are with the CDC. Aze is now running on the CDC party. Are you trying to say that CDC will not fee a candidate and you always support Aze? Is that why you're hearing?
No. The CDC will have a candidate.
You say I'm with the CDC and Mr. Tukpah is going independent if I will support him?
No, I'm asking you whether you're hearing that the CDC is not going to fee a candidate because Mr. Tukpah door with the CDC, but is running independent.
Well, Mr. Tukpah is going independent. He's a Liberian. You know, he has his own destiny in his hand. You know, CDC can decide to do what they want to do. Even if they feature a candidate, you know, Mr. Tukpah already announced that he's going independent. So whoever has faith and believe in Mr. Tukpah, you know, will give him their vote.
All right. Thank you.
So essentially what she tried to say, she's trying to advise citizens not to subscribe to this, you know, vote one, vote all, or because somebody is a sedition, you should just vote them. This is about Liberia. This is about Montserrat County. And it's about having the best person that can make a difference for the county and the country in that position. We need that leadership. We need that person who can really drive certain development efforts, who can provide knowledgeable oversight, at the same time be able to produce legislation and be able to build consensus with its peers. You know, you may not like some people personally, you may not like their politics, but when it comes to Liberia and be able to build a consensus around a bill or around certain issues that will make an impact on people, you have to be willing to work with them.
All right, we have another caller. Caller with 3219 is your turn for question or comment. Quickly, your name. Caller, are you there?
Is it me?
Yeah, that's
Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mr. Isaac Tukpah, this is your friend and brother Benjamin Kofa Fanier. I just calling to congratulate you, and I wholeheartedly wish you all the very best. The only thing I want to get from you from this call is, obviously, we know this is something that that would be not what I would call the norm. You are literally breaking away, coming in as an independent. What will you do in case conflict arises between you and the CDC main body? What will you do?
That's to be seen. I mean, it depends on what the level of the conflict is, what the issue is. But as you know, I'm a purposed individual. You know, I have my certain beliefs that I don't want to sway from. And I will stick by those beliefs in those situations, regardless of what the conflict is. I have to go with what I've stood on over the years. So, but I don't foresee any conflict. This is democracy. I have the right to pursue my independent candidacy, and the CDC can put up the candidate or do what they want to do.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best.
All right. Let me bring in this caller, and then I'll come back to you, Mr. Tukpah.
Right. Just know we probably 9 minutes at 7:15. This was supposed to be 6 to 7, so at 7:15, I will have to beg.
All right. We have another caller. The caller we called you earlier, you were not paying attention. Your last number is 1036. Are you here in Raleigh? The caller is not ready. All right, then let me take this one. Caller with phone number ending in 1859. Quickly to the issue. What question do you have for aspiring Isaac Vah Tukpah Jr.?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Tukpah. Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Darren Dillon is known as a light, and I'm wondering, like, number one, when he came in, he promised to unveil, any sort of corruption in the Senate, and also he took a reduced salary. I want to know what Mr. Tukpah is willing to do. Because right now Darren Dillon is very popular. What is Mr. Dillon willing to do? I mean, what is Mr. Tukpah willing to do that will put him in a positive light? Because no matter how he looks at it, there's some scale with the CDC. So even though he's running as an independent, he's going to be seen as a sedition. And will he be more critical of the Senate? I mean, what is he willing to do that will make people say, well, will be an upgrade from Darren Dillon?
Again, I will give you the homework yourself. Put Mr. Darren Dillon, decide on whatever qualities or characteristics you want to compare us with, and put me on the other side, give your categories weights, and do your exam. And what you come up with, I believe the voice is Mr. Ed Jones. You can let me know, and then we can,
Yeah,
you can
it's
say,
me.
huh?
Will you be willing to take a reduced salary?
Oh, I have always advocated for reduced salaries. I think it's overstated. Part of my agenda is to really go for budget reprioritization. There is too much money wasted administratively in our government to,
What salary
know,
will you be willing to take, sir?
what salary?
Yes,
And
sir.
$3,000,
If the son is making
$3,000,
about
$4,000.
$12,000 a year, what salary will you be willing to take?
What is the salary now for lawmakers?
Let's say $12,000 a year. I'm just putting it
No,
there. Every
I,
client
I
is
think
to
I
do so.
think
Let's
I
say they
think
make about 12,000.
taking one third of like 4,000 is reasonable.
All right. Thank
All
you for
right.
calling.
Okay. Well, I wish
So
you.
if
I
they
wish you luck.
stay
Okay.
holding
Bye
on to
bye.
that salary, if they stay holding on to that salary, we'll use that 8,000 for projects in Monserrado County.
All right. As it he has left. So let's come to your message. You
Right.
know very well messaging is key. Let me see how much time we have left first. Okay, we are 48 minutes, so we got a little bit of window.
You say 48.
We going for man, it updated 1 hour. Sorry, yeah, it just
No,
updated.
we don't have 1 hour. This show was supposed to be from 6 to 7.
Yeah,
We're already
and
beyond time.
yeah, it's beyond that. I didn't look at it good. Sorry, but let me
Okay.
ask you my last question.
I know it's been wonderful. You've been enjoying yourself with me. So
Yeah, messaging. Your message, you know, it has to be catchy. It has to be something people can relate to. The pins that are on the ground is huge. And so my first question, why you think Dillon won?
again, Dillon won primarily because a significant number of people were disappointed in government's performance, and the significant number of citizens were disappointed in the lack of effort or overture from government as to how they would take or how they would proceed with them. So a lot of people felt disenchanted, disappointed that the CDC did not bring an inclusive agenda that included them and how they, as a people, especially those who spent 12 years in opposition, sacrificing for the CDC and not being able to understand what is the way forward for them with a CDC government.
So my last question is, knowing that, what will be your message that will resonate, that will kind of, be like addressing their pains, a message that will say, yes, I hear him. Because for Dillon, not trying to tell you what to do, Dillon was like, I'm the light. That place is dark. So he painted that whole play and he said he was the light. That kind of message, people could connect to it. What is your
But
connecting message?
people not label that light Chinese light, all kind of different lights. So we don't know how brightly it's shining.
Okay.
But we be the truth anyway. We're telling people the truth and we
Okay.
show them the power, the way they can be successful, the way they can be empowered. And we do our hardest to network. Make sure Liberians can be integrated. Make sure mindsets are transformed. And for us to be able to operate in a way that benefits people, that we can achieve that goal of sustainability, of people being able to have an affordable, decent life in Liberia is really, really possible if we can create that economic space that incorporates the different things we have talked about: agriculture, tourism, water sanitation. Even there's money in education and healthcare that people can make, and the ancillary stuff or downstream activities that can be able to grow our economy more effectively.
All right. On that note, aspirant Axel Vah Tukpah Jr. for the Monserrado County Senate seat that is up for re-election. We want to say thank you for honoring this invitation and coming here to make a big announcement. We can do that again because there's a lot that has to be done, and we need to talk about all of that. I don't think just announcing that, hey, I'm an aspirant, we'll call it. You need to do a lot of work. And we are here as a media platform to always ask the tough question. Thank you for coming.
Wonderful.
Good luck.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you to all of those who took their time to watch this and those who will subsequently watch it. This is an open invitation to people. If anything I said resonated with you, please reach out to me. We are looking for more people to join our effort. That vision that we have of integration and transformation to make a difference for the people in Liberia, we are really, really passionate about it. It's something that we have believed in for the longest time. It's something that we believe that if we work together, we'll be able to achieve. So whether you're in Liberia, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in the US, join our team. Feel free to ask me any question. You can come into my inbox on Facebook, or if you have my email or my telephone number, just reach out to me. I'm very open to have these conversations with small groups. If you have your own group of people that you want to understand better, I can come to you. I can make a presentation of what I'm thinking, what I want to do, how I think you can fit in based on whatever your situation is. So there's room for everybody. That's what all I'm trying to say. There is room for everybody. We can do this thing together. We can make Liberia a better Liberia for all Liberians. So thank you on Focus on Liberia for having me today, for giving me this platform. And we look forward to getting on other platforms, and we'll focus on Liberia. We'll not be jealous about it, but there are other people who also want to ask these tough questions or want to engage us on our path as we move forward. So we are excited about this opportunity. I want to say thank you to the exploratory team that worked so hard to get us to this point. I want to say thank you to those people on the ground who are, some of them have never met me. They just heard my name. Some of them know me through the CDC, but they support this campaign. They believe in me, and they want us to work together. And then last but not least are my friends who are supporting me, who are committed to this effort, who want to be a part of this thing. So we open our arms to everybody, and we just hope we can build a very, very strong campaign team, as well as the Liberian Integration and Transformation Movement that will be a watchdog, an advocacy group, and be able to hold our feet and the government's feet to the fire. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Sear.
Thank you. It was good having you. On that note, folks, in cyberspace, we are drawing down the curtains in this broadcast. The big announcement has been made. Mr. Vah Tukpah now not only has to be talking the talk, he needs to start walking the walk, because it's campaign and you have to do some ground walking, as we'll say in Grand Crew County, because we have issue with road. So we'll call our county the ground walking county. That's the only tip I can share with you. If you do a lot of ground walking, maybe that window will open for you. Thank you, folks. This is how we'll draw down the curtains. We're saying coronavirus stay real, protect your family, and this song is taking us home that says we are all Liberians. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberia people.